look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He gotta show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that, like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10.
Mm-hmm.
That's.
Joe Rogan didn't stay quiet when Floyd Mayweather's real estate claims came up. Instead, he openly questioned them, pointing out that the numbers simply didn't seem to make sense.
The reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million. And so you hate him.
And that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from a individual, from a billionaire, that had a 9% interest on the loan.
Rogan also challenged the story surrounding Floyd, especially the claims that he owns dozens of properties worth tens of millions. He emphasized that there's a big difference between bold statements and assets that are actually confirmed.
The IRS, how much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to
It's
pay.
neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this, he makes so much money that there's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
That's when the discussion starts to heat up. Floyd built his Money Mayweather image around the idea of endless wealth, piles of cash, expensive watches, and a business empire that looked unstoppable. However, some reports circulating in business circles suggest the reality might be more complex.
That Floyd Mayweather has made, and because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And another sign of him maybe in financial trouble is, as of February 2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career.
Reports from Business Insider suggested that 2 of Mayweather's commercial properties had already gone into foreclosure. There were also claims that his Las Vegas strip club property was at risk of being taken over due to unpaid property taxes. On top of that, Lawsuits surfaced alleging unpaid bills for luxury watches and jewelry, claims Floyd has strongly denied. Altogether, the discussion quickly shifts from flashy success to serious financial questions.
Things that they said in this article were insane. That Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment. His private jet fuel, he's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a 50.
The same report also mentioned that 2 condos Mayweather owned at Trump Las Vegas were briefly seized over unpaid taxes before being returned after the balance was settled. There were also claims about a massive $54 million loan that allegedly used his homes, private jet, and business interests as collateral. Whether these situations were exaggerated or simply misunderstood, the contrast between the public money, image, and these reports has sparked plenty of debate. Joe Rogan's earlier skepticism about Floyd's financial empire had already stirred the conversation. But then Chael Sonnen entered the discussion with a much more blunt perspective, essentially questioning why anyone was surprised by the idea that Floyd might be facing financial pressure.
And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing gym, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things?
He turns the question back on the audience and basically says, if most people go to work every week because they need money, why would it be unusual for a boxer to keep fighting for the same reason? It's classic Chael, part blunt honesty, part playful trolling. But he doesn't stop there. Chael also challenges the massive payday narratives in boxing, explaining that the huge billion-dollar earnings figures and enormous pay-per-view claims often originate from promotional announcements rather than fully verified financial records. According to him, no one directly involved in processing the pay-per-view sales has publicly confirmed numbers on that scale. That comment alone shakes up years of hype surrounding boxing revenue.
He's got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check?
At the same time, Chael isn't only criticizing Floyd, he's also taking aim at the way financial stories are told across the entire sports industry. He then shifts the discussion toward the chaos surrounding fight contracts, explaining that publicly announcing multiple bouts while talks for a Tyson matchup are ongoing would frustrate almost any promoter. In the fight business, timing and exclusivity are crucial. That's where the irony really stands out. Chael points out that Floyd has accused Showtime of questionable business practices.
With you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be.
Meanwhile, critics have also pointed fingers at Floyd's own promotional side, especially regarding the confusion surrounding the fight with Logan Paul. At that point, the situation starts to feel like a hall of mirrors, everyone accusing someone else of being responsible for the chaos. Still, there's an interesting contradiction that Chael indirectly points out. People may question Floyd's finances, debate the size of his paydays, argue over contracts, or dismiss exhibition fights. But the moment Mayweather's name appears on a fight card, the entire combat sports community suddenly pays attention.
$0.3 million. No, he doesn't. just to clear that up, no, he doesn't. Will Logan ever get the money? I think Floyd's broke. Floyd does not owe Logan $1.3 million. Floyd's promotion owes Logan $1.3 million. And no, of course he's not going to get it. That promotion's already shut down. Allegedly, by the way, yes.
Chael Sonnen had already stirred up the debate about whether Floyd might be struggling financially. But then Jason Whitlock and his panel joined the conversation, and suddenly the discussion felt less like fight analysis and more like a group of financial investigators breaking down the numbers. Whitlock kicks things off by referencing Shannon Sharpe and O'Shea's idea that Floyd's possible return to the ring could simply be about chasing another huge payday. And once names like Canelo, Manny Pacquiao, and Terence Crawford enter the conversation, the business side of boxing becomes impossible to ignore. Shannon argues those are the types of matchups that could generate the level of money Floyd would be interested in. That's not just casual speculation. It's basically a list of boxing's biggest potential super fights. Then Whitlock drops a classic Rocky-style question, why do you fight? Suddenly the discussion shifts from business talk to a surprisingly philosophical moment.
Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco suggested on their podcast that Floyd Mayweather is talking about coming back, unretiring.
He is.
Because he's broke.
Yeah.
Let's play the clip here of Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco.
There are only 3 fights that Floyd can have that can command and get the kind of money he's looking to recoup for money that may have been lost, or money that may have been stolen, or money he may have spent, to date. For one, a rematch with Canelo. That's one fight.
Canelo too big.
Listen to me, Unc. We talk about making that money.
Floyd literally built his entire brand around the idea that wealth equals success, transforming from pretty boy to money Mayweather. Whitlock points out the sharp irony. When your whole persona revolves around money, even a rumor of financial trouble can blow up into a media storm. Dre adds a grounded perspective, explaining that the real question isn't how much Floyd has earned, it's what's hidden beneath the surface. Liquidity, assets, debts, taxes, and lifestyle choices. In other words, the financial iceberg lurking under all the flashy Instagram posts. Meanwhile, the panel jokes about gamblers going broke, IRS bills, and extravagant spending, turning Floyd's career story into less of a simple victory lap and more of a complicated puzzle. Here's the part that's hilarious. While half the panel questions the logic of a nearly 50-year-old stepping back into the ring, the other half quietly admits what every fight fan already knows. The moment Floyd announces a matchup with someone like Crawford, Canelo, or even Pacquiao, everyone arguing about it right now will be glued to the screen when the bell rings.
$1 billion and he's 47 years old and he's completely broke. He's won the prize. This is, of all the idiots that we've seen out there, celebrities, actors, entertainers that have lost a lot of money, this guy would take the cake. To blow a bill before he even hits 50 is unimaginable. It actually is sad. It's a cautionary tale. We have seen it time and time again. But who actually wants to watch this guy fight? Like, people that love him. If he comes out and if he loses and looks terrible and gets destroyed, well, look, if you love him or hate him, you can say, well, he's nearly 50.
Whitlock and the panel had already turned Floyd's potential comeback into a full-blown financial courtroom drama. But when Andre Ward joins the conversation, the tone instantly shifts, from hot takes and speculation to genuine fighter-level reflection. And honestly, that contrast hits differently. Ward starts by reminding everyone that he's always respected Floyd's work ethic, a side of him that often gets overshadowed by the flashy lifestyle. The cars, the private jets, the glittery persona, they're all part of the Mayweather brand. But underneath it, Ward points out, there's always been a relentless gym rat who never skipped a day of hard work. When Ward admits he's conflicted about this comeback, it feels honest because he's not attacking Floyd like the rumor mill. He's speaking to something deeper. Boxing becomes part of who you are. The adrenaline, the spotlight, the enormous fight night paychecks. Those are feelings that ordinary life simply can't replicate.
That is because of the way Floyd Mayweather goes about his business. He's been filthy rich. He's made his name, his legacy, and a lot of his reputation wasn't just the boxing, it was the money. It's the money man. What I have, what I'm driving, what I'm living in, what I'm flying in. And a lot of people, they don't like that. I don't know if Floyd Mayweather had more supporters for most of his fights are more haters. But regardless of where you fall on that line, Floyd Mayweather made it work for him when many people, promoters included, networks included, early on didn't think.
That's the kind of perspective only a former champion can give. Then Ward shifts the discussion to the potential Pacquiao rematch, and suddenly the analyst in me perks up again. He makes an interesting point. Older fighters can actually generate more action because they can't rely on the same constant movement they once had. Less footwork, more exchanges. Just that one idea challenges the common narrative that this fight would automatically be boring. The tension Ward keeps returning to, however, is the real risk of age. Your mind still thinks you're the same fighter, while your body quietly disagrees. A truth that explains countless tragedies in boxing history. Even as Ward admits he'd personally prefer both legends enjoying a relaxed retirement on a beach somewhere, he also acknowledges that curiosity inevitably wins. When two icons with unfinished business step back into the ring, the entire fight world can't help but watch, whether we want to or not.
He'll say he don't watch him, but he'll watch any potential opponent over and over and over, and he has to process, can he do anything with me? How does my skill set line up with his? Can I beat him? The problem with being 49 years of age is sometimes your brain can see things and tell you things that your body's not in agreement with. That's the problem with age. Your brain is still saying, I'm him. Your brain is still saying, man, I'm Money Mayweather. Man, these youngsters can't deal with me. But your body is saying, brother, we can't do it like that.
When you step back and take it all in, it almost feels like four separate realities are crashing together at once. Joe Rogan is questioning the narrative around Floyd's financial empire. Chael Sonnen is tearing apart the mythology of massive boxing paydays. Whitlock and his panel are breaking down the business and lifestyle side of the story. And then Andre Ward brings in the fighter's perspective, reminding everyone that boxing gets under your skin in ways that money alone can't replicate. On one side, people argue that Floyd's comeback is all about chasing another huge payday. On the other, some say the financial rumors are overblown gossip. And Ward quietly reminds us that sometimes fighters return for reasons that go beyond money. The adrenaline, the competition, the spotlight, things normal life can't replicate. That's the real tension here. Legacy versus longevity, business versus passion. Whether Floyd is chasing money, history, or simply the thrill of being Money Mayweather, again, the bigger truth is clear. Everyone is talking about it. The debate, the analysis, the arguments, it all proves just how much influence he still holds. That's the kind of pull only a legend can have in this sport.
The struggle, and that's the danger of coming back at this age. So part of me wants to see these guys continue to make money. Part of me wants to see these guys, how do they do it at this age? Man, show me something. Show me how your mind can overtake the deficiencies you may have in your body at your age. But the deeper part of me, man, I want to see Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on a beach somewhere, living off the fruits of their labor, helping the game however they see fit to help the game, and just watching the next generations do what they do. But hey, we got to fight September 19th.
Do you think Floyd Mayweather returning is about money, love for the sport, or unfinished legacy business? With Manny Pacquiao? Drop your take in the comments. Let's really talk about. And yo, don't ever forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Boxing Today. See you in the next one.